industrialized, their numbers would have dropped, even if you believe the world's overpopulated. That's what's so cold-blooded about this. They keep the people bomb going to hurt these countries because they never get industrialized. They keep them from industrializing and then say, oh, now we just got to sterilize them. So keep them from industrializing and then sterilize them. The West is only having 1.3 children from Japan to the United States, 1.3 children for every 2 indigenous adults that live there. The U.S. has grown in population because of massive, over 3 million illegals, 1 million illegals a year coming in. That's what's replacing our dying numbers, the death of the West, that Pat Buchanan has written so much about. This is the reality. And they are going to stage terror attacks to set up a bigger police state so you can't politically change what they're doing. They are going to release more and more controlled biological plagues, then put soft-kill viruses, RNA in your vaccines. They are just going to continue taking your children from you, bankrupting you through taxes, government-run health care to make you dependent on them. And they are just going to phase this in over the next 25 years, they have stated, until world population starts imploding. And the elites say they're doing this in public writings so they can have control of the future, so they can have control of resources for themselves and their families, and so they can have the life extension technologies for themselves. They do not want to give those life extension technologies to the general public. You can't give people systems that allow them to live to 150 or older, and by then, even past that, because of the way technology will grow. This is what Ray Kurzweil is saying. This is what all the top futurists at the UN are saying. This is what the Pentagon says. This is what Bill Joy, co-owner of Sun Microsystems, has written about in Wired magazine. Intellectuals are all aware of this, but the average well-educated intellectual is told, oh, you're elite, you're smart, you'll be part of this. Get on board with the program. They think they're part of it. Even low-level professors are part of this. Newspaper writers everywhere are calling for one-child policies. I'm sure you've seen it on the news, to lower the carbon footprint. This is a revolution, what they call the final revolution of a scientific dictatorship, where a rebellion of the people will be as unthinkable as a rebellion of sheep against the practice of eating mutton or baby sheep. That's a quote from Bertrand Russell. As Aldous Huxley said, whose brother ran the UN eugenics program, Secretary General of UNESCO, Julian Huxley. Aldous Huxley said, the scientific dictatorship will make you love your servitude, love having your bills going up, love having your children taken, love dying of cancer from the inoculations. The government's declassified that they put cancer viruses in over 200 million dosages of the polio vaccine that killed millions. This is on record, Associated Press. In fact, for everybody watching on TV and radio, Google Associated Press, source, AP, polio vaccine killed, polio vaccine live. And you'll see AP this year like it's no big deal. Oh, all over the world, the UN gave people live weaponized polio in vaccines and it killed them. Oh, it was a mistake. No, they've been doing that for 40 years that we know of. Ladies and gentlemen, this is so diabolical. Why does a young 15-year-old girl get in the car with Ted Bundy at the mall? He's wearing a suit. He's handsome. He's well-spoken. Hey, honey, let's go have fun. Let me go buy you a hamburger, and we can have some fun in the back. She's 15. She's getting all sexually charged up. You know, the guys her age aren't hitting on her. She wants to have some fun. She wants to get back at her parents. She can't believe that in 30 minutes she's going to be tied up in a shack with him torturing her and biting chunks out of her. You are the same way, America and the rest of the world. You have been taught that globalism is cute. Print that article for me. They found it. CBS News is just one of them. Mutant polio virus spreads in Nigeria. The next line, they admit like it's no big deal. Oh, it was spread through the vaccine. You better wake up and figure out there's nothing trendy about this. When the Fortune 100 is behind global taxes, you better run for the hills. When the eugenics elite is for this, you better wake up. All right, Bob Chapman with us for the rest of the hour. Bob, thanks for holding while I finished up that key breakdown. Speak in detail from your 45 years of fighting the globalists, formerly Army Intelligence, one of the biggest silver and gold brokers in history, private brokers, the #1 newsletter until you retired. You've now come back to fight these people. from your study of the New World Order, is what I said accurate, and why do you think they're coming out and announcing one-child policy, global dictatorship, forced abortion in the U.S. and Canada and Europe, CPS taking almost all the children? It's all being announced, sir. No longer in the documents, now publicly. Bob Chapman.
Well, that's exactly the way it is, and as an evolutionary process, I and a handful of others have been talking about it for 50 years. And it's here and now. I could have not said it any more fully or any better than what you have. I heard you yesterday or earlier in today. I think it was earlier today. And one of the things that you touched on that you didn't touch on this morning was the taxing intent of formulating a new currency to be based on carbon taxes. And this is strongly one of the ways that they want to entrap people, the taxation and a new world currency based upon carbon. And I think we may have stopped them. We won't know for a few months yet, but you've been very close to closer than I to what's happening in Copenhagen, and they are conducting themselves at the meeting like nobody ever heard about ClimateGate and the release of the emails that identified them for creating global warming as a fraud and a ruse. They're just going ahead full steam, doing what they want to do. And as you said, in regard to the president in signing the document to try to enforce it in the United States and bypassing the House and the Senate, and essentially setting himself up as a dictator and committing high treason. That's their attitude in this thing. They think they can get away with anything. And one of the things that they've missed, I think, is they think they control the military, and they don't. And I think they're going to find that they're going to push a little bit too far along the way here, and that's going to be in the next year or two, and everything's going to break loose.
Well, the key is when you got government documents 45 years ago, I got government documents 14 years ago, we didn't just sit here and shut up because the media called us kooks. We would hold up the official IMF, World Bank, UN plans. So we've warned, you've probably done 10, 20, 30,000 interviews. What do you do, 5, 6, 7 a day for 30, 40 years? I mean, I've been reaching hundreds of millions of people over the years. My films alone seen over 100+ million times on YouTube and Google. That's publicly, the newspapers report that with horror, that we're so effective. So we warned everybody. Now, everything we said would happen happened exactly as we said. Not because we have crystal balls. We were reading their own documents. Now people are freaking out and listening. And so we're beginning to get the momentum. Ron Paul said his audit the Fed's going to pass the House today. I mean, we are devastating them thanks to the fact that we didn't care about being demonized or laughed at, Bob.
That's right. And we're going to keep right on doing it and sticking it to them. And we're going to win. But we got to have the help of the public. They've got to get with us. They have to take the information that we have and go to their elected representatives, especially at the lower levels, and the city councils and county councils and mayors and aldermen and state representatives. Go to sovereignty, push the government, push them right to the edge, push Wall Street right to the edge.
We have to continue to identify the enemy. I mean, how bold is it? How incredible is it for you to see them openly come out and admit global government, openly come out and say world government, planetary one-child tax, take your children by law, openly being announced by the Chinese delegation, they own our debt, to see them openly announcing a global control over all transportation, a UN authority, a 2% tax on all GDP of countries, hundreds of taxes on all human activity, 700+ new UN bureaucracies. I mean, this is amazing.
It certainly is, and they're going for it because they don't have any other choice. They took the program forward. They made a big mistake. They couldn't stop, and they can't stop any more now than they could then. And if they don't go forward, they're going to be gobbled up anyway.
Very well said, Bob Chapman. Let's continue to break this down on the other side of this quick break. This is the one, the only GCN Radio Network. I'm out.